Size concerns emerge as Deion Sanders taps 166 pounds RB to solve Colorado's major struggle. Deion Sanders isn't blinking. Even as 34 players have packed their bags and exited Boulder this offseason, including last year's leading rusher, Isaiah Augustov, Coach Prime continues to reload. Augustov's decision to transfer to Virginia leaves a wide gap in Colorado's backfield. He racked up a team-high 384 yards and tied for the team lead with 4 TDs, modest numbers that underscore a long-standing issue. Sanders hasn't had a 100-yard rusher in a single game during his tenure at Colorado. The revolving door at RB is no longer just a roster quirk. It's become one of the program's defining struggles. So when Sanders made a surprising late April grab out of the portal, all eyes turned to one name. Meet Decalin Taylor. The incarnate word transfer isn't your typical high-volume power back. Standing at 5'9" and weighing in at just 166 pounds, he immediately raises size concerns in a conference where DL eat backs like him for lunch. But what Taylor lacks in bulk, he makes up for in burst. On the Locked on Buffs podcast, Kevin Borba didn't hold back on his optimism. Decalin Taylor, 5 feet 9 inches, 166-pound running back, 152 carries for 909 yards, 9 touchdowns, 6 yards per carry last season, he laid out. He also made an impact in the return game and the receiving game. I think he could be Colorado's first star running back. That's no small prediction for a team that struggled to find consistent ground production since Sanders took over. The ceiling is high, but so are the risks. Zach McKinnell, co-hosting the episode, didn't shy away from the question everyone's thinking. The one thing I do question for him is, can he be a 25 to 30 carry guy? I don't know just because of his size. The wear and tear of a full Big 12 schedule is no joke, and Colorado's offensive line hasn't exactly made life easy for its rushers. Still, the upside is impossible to ignore. If you're looking for an explosive option out the backfield, Decalin Taylor is your guy, McKinnell continued. And I really do think with how creative Colorado likes to be with their offense, he really fits the mold of a guy who's going to be very successful in Boulder. Taylor's breakout 2024 campaign at Incarnate Word was no fluke. He tallied 909 yards and 9 touchdowns on 152 touches, good for a sharp 6 yards per carry. He also reeled in 22 receptions for 163 yards, showcasing dual-threat capability that Deion Sanders has long wanted in his offensive scheme. Taylor's versatility isn't just a bonus. It's a requirement in an offense that's still finding its identity. This is a system that thrives on spacing, mismatches, and tempo, and Taylor might just be the jitterbug who unlocks it. He's also dangerous in the return game, giving him multiple paths to impact. But Deion Sanders didn't stop with just one weapon. Wednesday's portal blitz also brought in 3-star tight end Zach Atkins from Northwest Missouri State and wide receiver Joseph Williams from Tulsa. Atkins offers a new dimension for an offense that hasn't used the tight end position effectively, while Williams gives them much-needed depth at wideout. Most notably, Sanders also landed 2 high-upside transfers from Tennessee, OL Larry Johnson III and DB John Slaughter. Johnson, in particular, could be critical to opening up windows for Taylor and giving Kaidon Salter more time in the pocket. All told, Coach Prime now holds 26 portal commitments, including 3 4-star prospects, and his 2025 incoming transfer class ranks number 20 nationally and number 2 in the Big 12. That kind of ranking speaks to more than just hype. It shows a coach who's weaponizing the portal like few others. Deion Sanders adds key pieces, still fishing for more. Coach Prime is cooking in Boulder, and his transfer portal recipe just got a flavorful boost. Over the last 2 days, CU has landed a high-upside quartet of transfers, including the 2 former volumes. They're joined by Incarnate Word's standout Decalin Taylor, known for his electric return skills, and Kansas State safety Noah King. Johnson, Slaughter, and Taylor come in as 3-star transfers, while King brings a bit more shine as a 4-star talent, according to 247 Sports. Don't forget Hakeem Williams, the former Florida State 4-star wideout committed just a day earlier. The Buffs are stacking talent like it's Black Friday. But Coach Prime isn't just scooping up portal names at random. You got to know what you need, not just grabbing somebody from the portal, Sanders said in April. You have to check them out thoroughly, make sure they fit, not just athletically, but also with the culture and what we're doing here at CU. And what's still on his shopping list? One tremendous defensive tackle, probably 3 corners, 1 receiver. That's a grown man. That's as a dog, Sanders said. So, yes, the hunt's not over yet. Deion Sanders' CU buffs get 322 pounds boost after taking big strides on 5-star Alabama target. Deion Sanders and the Buffs are making major moves in the transfer portal ahead of the 2025 season. Well, the Buffs have been no strangers to roster overhauls, with Sanders turning the portal into his personal shopping cart. In the past 2 years, they've lost 98 players but brought in 95 new faces. And the gamble paid off in 2024 with a solid 9-4 record, Colorado's best showing since 2016. So, Sanders' blueprint is working, and the Buffs are only getting stronger. But will it work for the 2025 season? The 2025 transfer cycle is looking familiar for CU, with 28 new transfers coming in after losing 33 players to the portal this offseason. Deion Sanders and company made their latest splash Monday, adding a former Maryland OT. As a 3-star recruit out of St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, he's the latest piece to a major puzzle. Colorado is banking on these transfers to fix an offensive line that's been plagued by sacks for the past 2 years. Honestly, with 7 new linemen in the fold, the Buffs are trying to rebuild their front 5 after losing 8 to the portal. But the latest piece in Colorado's transfer puzzle? None other than 6'5", 322-pound offensive tackle Andre Roy Jr. Roy entered the portal on April 17th and made a visit to Boulder over the weekend. Now, according to On3's Hayes Fawcett, he's officially committed to the Buffaloes. As a key starter for Maryland, Roy played in 7 games last season and allowed just 1 sack in 434 snaps. Now, with 2 years of eligibility left, he's poised to bring some much-needed stability to CU's offensive line. Well, Andre Roy Jr. came to Maryland as part of the 2022 class, ranked as the number 45 offensive tackle nationwide. He saw action in 6 games last season, but struggled with penalties and was set to face stiff competition for a starting spot. Then, with Maryland bringing in Connecticut standout Rotrell Perry to anchor the line, Roy chose a fresh start. Now, he's headed to a new stage under Deion Sanders. And given Roy's upside and experience, Coach Prime's move to grab him makes perfect sense. Honestly, in Boulder, he'll have a golden shot to shine in 2025. While building his roster through the portal, Deion Sanders isn't just reloading, he's also poaching. The Colorado head coach is now making noise on the recruiting trail, snatching a top-tier target right out of Alabama's sights. However, the latest buzz? A 5-star prospect who had the Tide's full attention is now eyeing Boulder. Simply put, Coach Prime is making bold moves, and the nation is watching. Deion Sanders' next big prize. Deion Sanders is making big strides in the race for 5-star Alabama target Cedarian Morgan, and Boulder just made its pitch. Well, the number 2 WR in the 2025 class lit up his CU visit, calling the Buffs staff unreal and the vibe special. So, Sanders rolled out the red carpet, and Morgan noticed. With offers from Auburn, Georgia, Bama, Florida, and Clemson, it's a crowded battle, but Coach Prime just made it interesting. Morgan is no ordinary talent. 70 catches, 1,162 yards, and 14 TDs in 2024. On top of that, he averaged 19.4 YPC as a sophomore, 16.6 as a junior. So, the speed, polish, and production scream star. Now, in Prime's offense, Morgan could be the next game changer. Simply put, Deion Sanders' NFL-heavy staff might be CU's biggest selling point for Morgan. Playing early, building my brand, and learning under Coach Prime. That could be my fast track to the NFL, said Morgan. With Hall of Famers like Marshall Faulk and Warren Sapp, plus NFL vets like Jason Phillips, it's a pro pipeline. Even Boulder left a mark. The city, the mountains, very different from the South, but I really enjoyed it, added Morgan. Moreover, after his visit, Morgan dropped a pick in Buffs gear, and QB Julian Lewis replied, "Easy." So the message? The future WR1 may have found his QB. However, Morgan's commitment on July 2nd could ignite a full-blown recruiting war. Alabama's already hosted him for A-Day and will bring him back June 20th, hoping to seal the deal. At 6'4", 210 pounds. Morgan's a red zone nightmare with a Julio Jones frame and elite body control. He's explosive downfield and wins the 50-50s with ease. While Auburn and Georgia are lurking, Alabama's momentum and track record with WRs makes them the frontrunner. But don't count out Deion Sanders, who's pushing hard to flip the script. Now, let's see who can check all the boxes for this 5-star WR.